What's going on, guys? The Daily Broadcast. So in today's video, I got Kevin on, my expert for UFC. I got him back on. We're going to be doing the post-analysis fight like we said we would for the UFC 260 with a crazy, crazy fight card. Could have been better with a Volkanovski fight, and you would have had two championship fights, but it still was good. And you got to see, as you can see right now, Francis Ngannou put on UFC Gold. We're going to be addressing him last because we're going to be talking about the last video. We talked about the top three fights, which was Francis Ngannou versus Stipe Miocic as the main event. Co-main event was Tyron Woodley versus Vince Luque, something like that, Luque. And then you had Sean O'Malley versus Thomas Almeida. So we're going to be talking about those fights, doing a recap of those fights, starting off with O'Malley. But before we do that, Kevin, you got anything to talk about, express?
Let's get into it.
All right, so obviously you had the Sugar Sean O'Malley balling out. Loved it. I think, like we were talking about in the last fight, the only reason why he lost his last fight was because he had some weird freak injury with his leg. You can clearly see that this guy is going to be a superstar. What do you think?
Yeah, his last loss was kind of legitimate because it was from a calf kick, and that's like a possibility of that happening. But despite that, he looked fantastic in this fight. It was almost a complete dominant performance. Like Almeida tagged him a couple times, but didn't really land much. And O'Malley looked similar to the way that Khabib fights on the ground. Like he was just controlling the whole stand-up game.
Yeah.
It was a pretty dominant win. It was a couple, what I would compare it to is like a couple steps below Max Holloway's last fight. I don't know if you saw that fight, but that was
I did not. I heard that fight was insane.
It was the most incredible performance I've ever seen by anyone, any sport ever. It was a fantastic fight. And I would put this fight, O'Malley versus Almeida, a little bit below that fight. And that's like saying a lot because that was a fantastic fight. So it was a dominant performance. He was very exciting. Could have ended in the first round. I don't know if you saw there, but he put Almeida on the floor and kind of wanted a walk-off KO. But if he followed up with some shots, he could have finished there. But it was a great fight by O'Malley. And I don't know if you saw this, but Dominic Cruz, I think either he called out Dom Cruz or Dom Cruz called him out. So I don't know if you saw that, but that could be a potential fight, which would be a huge step up for O'Malley.
I did not see that, but just to say, apparently, I watched a clip of him on the Pat McAfee show. Do you know who Pat McAfee is?
Yeah.
I saw a clip of him saying that that first round when he put Thomas Almeida on the ground and he was trying to do the walk off. He said he wasn't trying to do the walk off, and he said that on his T-shirt apparently it says like right hand knockout or something like that. And he said that when he hit Almeida, in the first round, he hit him with his left hand, so it wouldn't have accomplished his T-shirt. So then that's why he waited. And then in the second round, when you saw the actual knockout, he came down with his right hand. I don't know how true that is. I think that might be him talking shit.
Yeah, that might be a little bit of fluff there.
Yeah, but it's definitely funny. I mean, that's why I'm saying where he's becoming this superstar caliber and could become a household name. And I did not see him, Dominic Cruz, the call out or Dominic Cruz calling him out or him calling out Dominic Cruz, but that would be a huge fight. And like you said, Almeida seems to be a kind of guy where if you play well or if you fight well against him, you can work your way back into the top five.
Yeah, I think Cody Garbrandt, I could be wrong, but I think he fought Almeida and then he fought for the title and destroyed Dominic Cruz in that fight.
Yeah.
So this is definitely a huge fight for O'Malley. Like you said, he is a very exciting fighter to watch, but he's also great outside the cage. He knows how to market himself. He's not boring. He doesn't just answer the questions straightforward. He'll add a little bit of sugar to it. But that was a great fight for him. Get him back in the win column. Hopefully Dominic Cruz is next. I think that would be a really cool fight. I think he beats Dominic Cruz, to be honest. I think Cruz is a little bit washed, but that'd be a really cool fight.
I think Cruz is probably a little bit washed too as of now, but I'm trying to find who's the bantamweight champion. Oh, Sterling.
Aljo, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
You know what he's saying? He's why does Petr Yan get an immediate title shot? He just cheated. And it's come on, dude. stop it.
Is
Like,
he
you gotta
really
fight
saying
him.
that now?
Huh?
Is he saying that now? We talked about that
Yeah.
earlier in our last video, in one of
Yeah.
our earlier videos.
He's
Damn,
bitching out right now.
come on, dude. He's got to. I like him a lot, but now he's starting to be a little.
I don't really like him anymore.
I'm
I
getting a
do
little
not
annoyed
like
by
him
him.
after that fight. No,
He's getting on my poop list. I'll tell you that. But anyway,
yeah.
back to Sean O'Malley. So yeah, no, I think if he fights Cruz and does what he does and does like what he can usually do, that will be a huge name fight. And it's a kind of fight where it's a kind of guy who, like we said, is probably a little bit washed up now, is not in his prime anymore for sure. But he is a big time name, and he is like the superstar.
He's arguably the greatest bantamweight of all time. So if he
Exactly.
beats him, it's almost like how guys in the middleweight division like Israel Adesanya just beat Anderson Silva. Like
Yeah.
Regardless of if he's washed or not, he was middleweight champ or bantamweight champ a couple years ago. He's considered the greatest of all time. So it's still a big fight.
Yeah. 100% for sure. So yeah, that's probably Sean O'Malley. I mean, there's not much to say there, obviously, because again, this was a big time fight, but it wasn't really it wasn't the main event, co-main event, or anything like that. And now on to the co-main event, which was Tyron Woodley versus Vincent Luque. I'm probably butchering that name. Am I butchering that?
Vicente Luque.
Okay, Vicente Luque. Yeah. Sorry about that. Not to be offensive. I am bad at names. This is bad. This is bad for if you're a Tyron Woodley fan. It's tough. I'm sorry. That was not a great showing.
Yeah. I thought he looked better in that fight than his last 3 fights, though. Would you agree?
I would agree because at least like he came out looking like
he looked like he wanted to fight.
Yeah, he looked like he wanted to fight. He came out. He was throwing good punches. He looked like he was in really good shape. It's just, I don't know, because I mean, when he was wobbling around for a lot of that fight too.
Yeah, yeah.
That's why it just looked embarrassing in a way. Not to be mean to him, but like it did. Like it looked a little embarrassing just watching him get. He took a huge punch, and again, I give him a lot of credit for not like just laying down there and sitting there and being like, all right, cool, like, let me just take my shot. He like actually just kept trying to go, but he was like wobbling, and you saw him like lose his stance and everything. And I felt bad. I feel bad watching it because you know what I mean. Like he was like a really really good champ.
Yeah.
Champ for a while, and just after he lost to Kamara in that fashion, which was a tough loss of like a dominant performance by Usman. He has not been the same at all. Not even close.
The thing is, like, when you come out and fight like that, like, he's a super strong dude. Like, he's going to be able to just swing and knock you out. But, like, when you do fight like that, like, Vicente Luque is a super technical, like, super high-level striker. So when you fight against a guy, when you just fight wild against a guy like that, like, it's really not going to work out. Like, he threw some big shots, Woodley, and he looked, like, terrifying, but I'm sure Vicente Luque was almost like kind of relieved that he was doing that so he could just like kind of lean back and just pick him apart.
Yeah.
And he really did rock him though, Luque. Luque really rocked Tyron Woodley when he did. Like when he hurt him, he was like wobbling. He was doing like he was dancing all over the ring, all over the octagon. Like I understand why you say that you feel bad for him because like that's a little bit like while I like some people may find it embarrassing. Like you're gonna be on Instagram, like you're gonna be in some memes after that. Like you're just gonna see yourself like completely like not fully conscious and like just wobbling around the ring. And it's like it's not really something you want to see yourself doing. But I kind of respect Woodley for going out like that, at least, like you said. Like, he looked like he wanted to fight, which was a good thing.
I respect it too, but in a way, I just kind of feel like you're at like 3 or 4 losses in a row now.
You should, I agree with that. He should retire. I think he should have retired after Usman. He was like 36 or 37 after that.
Yeah.
So,
how old is he now? Let's look him up.
You can retire at that age. Like, he did his thing, and now he's done. Like, I don't understand why he's still fighting. He's just getting brain damage at this point.
Now he's 38 years old.
Yeah. He's old.
April 17th. He turns 39 this April 17th.
Yeah, he doesn't need to fight anymore. He doesn't need to fight.
He doesn't need
Actually,
to
he
fight,
did
and
not
he's
need to
like
fight
4
after he
losses
fought
now.
Usman. He didn't need to fight Gilbert Burns or Covington or Luque. He could have retired at any point.
Yeah.
That I agree with that. But for Luque, he had lost to Stephen Thompson like a year or two ago. So maybe there were some questions about him being super high level. I mean, he beat Nico Price and like a couple guys like that, but like lower level, less technical guys. But this is a pretty big win for him because like Dominic Cruz or Anderson Silva, like this guy was the former champ and he was considered by like some people to be like getting close to GSP, and like we were like, hey, like is this the greatest welterweight of all time? So it's still regardless of how he's looked, it's gonna be a big fight because he's a former champ. And I don't know what Luque's ranking was going into this fight. It was probably like top 10, top 12, but it'll definitely be looking at top 5 pretty soon. Probably after his next fight, he'll probably.
Do you know any idea who's gonna fight?
Enough opponent, then it'll get to like top 5-ish.
Do you have any idea who he will fight?
I don't know. I mean, I don't think Leon Edwards has an opponent. Bilal Muhammad, that guy who Leon Edwards like destroyed his eye. I don't know if you saw that. Like he's probably gonna be out for a while.
No, I did not see that.
Stephen Thompson probably won't fight him because he wants a title shot, kind of, or at least a top 5 guy because they've been doing him dirty recently. So they already fought. So I don't really know. Maybe he could fight Covington. He could fight. I don't really know. He could fight Kevin Holland if he comes down. Maybe that could be a good fight.
To help you out as far as rankings go, I just looked them up. Kamaru Usman is number 1. Covington's 2. Burns is 3. Jorge's 4. Leon Edwards is 5. Michael Chiesa. Yeah.
Chiesa.
Yeah, he's 6. Stephen Thompson's 7. And Luque is 8.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, really? He could fight Chiesa then.
And then Woodley's 9.
Yeah, he could fight Chiesa.
I'm assuming these are updated. I was gonna say they're not updated, but I think they are updated because they have their actual.
That sounds about right.
They have their actual records too, because they updated Woodley and Vicente's records. So I would assume this is pretty updated.
That's probably somewhat correct. Like it sounds about right. But he could fight Chiesa. He could fight Edwards. He might jump ahead of Thompson in the rankings, even though like I wouldn't agree with that. Like they're just giving Stephen Thompson low-level opponents. So he's kind of like not really getting the chance to move up in the division.
Who's Jorge? Oh, Jorge fights Usman now, right?
Yeah, for no reason. Other than he's popular.
Yeah, that's literally it. People want to make that.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a good fight for Luque, and I'd say he's got at least a top 6 opponent in Michael Chiesa. Probably his next fight, maybe even Leon Edwards. So we'll see. We'll see if he can rise up in the rankings.
Yeah, no, yeah. Again, that was definitely a really good performance from Vicente, and a tough one for Woodley. I don't know where his next play is here. I mean, again, you're 39. You're gonna turn 39 in 2 weeks.
Retirement.
Yeah, you're turning 39 in 2 weeks. There's no point of you keeping on. Like, why? I don't get the reason to keep pushing. It doesn't make any sense to me. I do feel really bad for the guy, and I hope he retires for his sake. I think it's time for him. Again, he had a great career, but I think it's time. But yeah, not to be more depressing, I got to go on to the championship fight because this is the best fight, obviously. The fight that I was super excited to watch, and that's Francis Ngannou with the biggest and baddest rematch of all time against Stipe Miocic. Great performance by Ngannou. Great performance. Like, insane.
Yeah.
One thing I want to take away from this fight, actually, too, is I noticed how when Stipe tried to take him down and Francis Ngannou had insane takedown defense. Like, he increased his takedown defense, obviously, by a lot and was able to prevent him from taking him down, got back up, and then knocked him out right away.
I was going into this fight. I was thinking I was really hopeful for Ngannou, but I was in my heart, I was thinking that Stipe Miocic was gonna win. I just thought he beat him last time. The question was Ngannou making any changes in the way he was training since that last fight? And once he sprawled on that takedown, I was like, oh my God, like he
Yeah,
won the fight. I was
yeah,
like, he won the fight. If Stipe can't take him down, he's not winning the fight.
no,
So I was like, holy shit, like he did it. And I think that was the defining moment of the fight because it just like showed that Ngannou, like it's like I don't know. Like there's probably some rematch in the Rocky movies, but like when Rocky beats the dude in a rematch, like that's what that moment was because like he finally like overcame that like that hump of being like, oh, he's just a wild guy who swings like crazily and he just relies on his power
yeah,
100%. But in
yeah,
that fight, he showed he improved his grappling, he improved his takedown defense, like you said, and he improved his striking. Like he came out way calmer and slower than he did in that last fight with in the first fight with Stipe. Um, he wasn't swinging like crazy like he normally does. He wasn't like committing like super hard to shots, even though when he did throw, like it looked terrifying still, but it looked less like he was like over committing. Um, yeah, his striking looked incredible. Um, that the final knockout like moment, like the sequence of punches, like at the end, he really that was a clean knockout. Like he
yeah.
stepped back and like just waited for Stipe to throw. I think it was actually a counter, and he just hit him while he was coming in. So that was a great performance by Francis Ngannou.
Definitely a great performance by Francis Ngannou, and I totally agree with you. I think honestly, I think Stipe, like in the first round, yeah, obviously got to give it to Ngannou, and then I think Stipe was probably thinking in his head like, okay, listen, like he's got. I understand. I'm probably not going to beat him on. I'm probably not going to beat him on like the in the stand-up game, in the striking game. But what I can definitely beat him is if I get him on the ground, try to ground and pound or something like that. So once he tried to put him down and Stipe Ngannou blocked it, that's when I bet Stipe is probably like, oh no, like oh no,
Yeah,
like this guy can actually do this now. Like, I don't know. And then I bet he's probably like, honestly, when they got back up, he's probably like, well, here we go now, like let's do this. And it was an awful knockout. And I'm thinking about it too. When he was on the ground, and obviously you have to do like the last punch while they're on the ground. When he's on the ground, how awful does that punch
oh,
look?
that's what he did to Cain Velasquez. Like he literally like just made him like fold back on his knees. That's probably he could have hurt his knees there.
Yeah, like watching Stipe go on the ground like that, hit his head in the ground, just like duh, like dead, almost dead, and then Ngannou, just imagine just going all of his body weight just on the ground, punches you like that.
Oh, dude,
Scary.
that punch was bad. That punch was like right on his jaw and his neck.
Yeah,
So, and like he was just flying at him. So I really like, if that
yeah.
was me, he's destroying my skull. So I don't know how Stipe like is able to absorb that.
If that was me, I would be blown up. I would be blown
Yeah.
up. Have you ever seen? This is probably a little nerdy, but like have you ever seen like the last Harry Potter movie?
Nah, I told you Harry Potter sucks. I
Okay,
don't like
well,
Harry
it
Potter.
doesn't. But whatever. I mean, I don't think a lot of people are gonna get the reference anyway, so that's fine. Never mind. But yeah,
Except when the mountain crushed
Yeah,
over in
yeah, that would be me.
Martell's
But it would be my
eyeballs.
entire body. That would be like his head, but it would be my entire body. I would just become a jelly. And like this man is ridiculous. And the fact that he weighs 263 pounds, he has to cut weight to make freaking whatchamacallit, to make heavyweight.
65.
And
Yeah.
it's not like he's fat. There is not an inch of fat on this man. It is gross. It is absolutely gross. And going into what his interview on Joe Rogan, I couldn't be more happy for a guy after him like talking about his whole story on how he had to go from Cameroon to France and all the immigration problems he had and sneaking over the borders and stuff and going through the Sahara Desert. Like, yeah, what a hero story. Like I was listening to someone talk about it. Like there's got to be a 30 for 30 on that guy. There has to be.
Yeah.
I need to see that. I am so excited to see that, and I need to see that because the story that this man has gone through is insane. I was watching it on a car. I was listening to him talk about it on a car ride, and I could not be more just like in tune to what he was saying, because it was ridiculous. It was a little upsetting in a way, but it was like, wow, like he's gone through everything and now he's here with this UFC gold, as you've seen the picture strapped around his belt. It was amazing.
Yeah, no, it really, that's why I'm saying it felt like a Rocky moment, because he came like from Africa and he already lost to this dude and everyone's doubting him. And then like he comes out on top, and then like he made that the defining moment of that fight was sprawling for the takedown.
Yeah.
Sprawling on the takedown.
And
But
finally do it.
this is the thing, like he looked like so good in that fight. Like he literally looked fantastic. And like the way he was able to out grapple basically Stipe. I mean, he didn't shoot or anything, but he defended all his takedowns, and he defended the takedowns, and then he would spin around on his back, and then like hit him with crazy ground and pound. Like his ground and pound looked fantastic. His control on top looked fantastic, and he's also, like you said, he was 263. He was like 30 pounds heavier than Stipe. If he's able to have that strength advantage in most of his fights, then that's going to be huge for the grappling, because he could just throw people around. And that's the thing. John Jones is coming up, and he's going to be 240, 250. If he beats John Jones, and like it's like Ngannou looked so much better from the first Stipe fight to this Stipe fight. So if you give him like 6 months or something to fight John Jones, how much better is he going to get in that period? And if he beats John Jones and he beats a couple other guys in the heavyweight division, like, are you telling me this isn't the greatest of all time right here? Like, yes, he has the potential to get there. After that fight, he beat the greatest heavyweight of all time, and then if he beats John Jones, like he beats the greatest of all time. So like, what does that make Francis Ngannou?
Yeah, dude. If this next fight between, because it hasn't obviously been set, but it's been almost pretty much like set by.
I think Dana guaranteed it.
If this next. If there's a Stipe, or if there's Ngannou versus John Jones, which there probably will be, that I think will be the best fight of all time. I think it will be the best fight of all time in general. I think it has the potential to be the best fight of all time, because you have John Jones, who, like I've said before, has never been beaten. The only person who could beat John Jones is John Jones himself. So you have him, and now he's going up against a guy who is 2 seconds away. He's a finger touch away from you being knocked out. I'm sorry. That's going to be the grossest fight of all time. Of all time. It will be.
Yeah, like the style matchup, like they're two very exciting fighters. The hype around it, like it's two of the greatest fighters ever. I think Francis just proved that he's up there.
Yeah.
Fighting when John Jones is coming up and gaining like 30, 40 pounds. Probably close to like 20 or 30 pounds, and fighting like this gigantic monster who boxes, and John Jones isn't a great boxer. Like, this is just an insane matchup, and regardless of how the fight will play out, like it's either how it will play out is John Jones it's either going to be if John Jones stays on the feet and like tries to strike with him, like Ngannou's going to be able to step in, like he will get inside and he will like tag him. So it's going to be about how John Jones is going to deal with him on the feet. And then it's going to be also, can John Jones take him down and control him? And like is he going to be able to control him? Because Stipe got controlled today or whenever it's on Saturday. Like Stipe, who was the better grappler last time, like beat him or was beaten on the ground. And John Jones is obviously the better grappler, but Francis is just so strong and gigantic, like, so he might not be able to be controlled. So that is a fantastic matchup. That is super exciting.
It's a scary matchup for sure. Like like I said before, I am so ridiculously excited for that fight. And yeah, I think you're right. If Ngannou can beat John Jones, and then I don't see like who's up next. Like who's up next to beat? Like I don't really know the heavyweight that well, but he's beaten everyone because he had to fight like legit every person in the heavyweight in order to get this rematch again, to prove himself.
He could fight. There's like I said there's like three decent fights right now. You have like the Curtis Blades trilogy. I take Ngannou still, but you can give Curtis Blades that title shot if he looks good. You got the Derek Lewis fight because they had fought in the past and it was a terrible fight, and they both, I think, want to run it back. Derek Lewis said he did, and
Yeah.
Ngannou said that he wasn't the same in that fight. So that seems like a possible fight, a rematch between them. And then you have Cyril Gane. I don't know if you're familiar with him.
No.
Frenchman. He just fought Jairzinho Rozenstruik and beat him, which is the guy that Francis, I think, fought his last.
Oh
fight.
wow, really? That's
I'm not
impressive.
wrong. But he's like a very technical striker, and he's gigantic.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another potential fight. So I think he has 3 fights moving on from here after John Jones. Say he beats John Jones, and John Jones might get a rematch. Who knows? Like John Jones could be like persistent. Like he could be a presence in the heavyweight division. Like maybe he doesn't like just retire soon after. Maybe he sticks around a little bit.
Yeah.
So he has maybe even 2 fights with John Jones, maybe even 3. Derek Lewis, Cyril Gane, and Curtis Blades. So
Yeah, he has the potential to be the best. He really does.
Yeah, no, literally, if he beats all those guys, like I don't think there's a question. I really don't think there's a question. He beat the greatest heavyweight of all time, the greatest light heavyweight of all time / greatest of all time, and 3 other heavyweights basically. So he's kind of clearing out the division. Heavyweight title reigns aren't usually super long. And Francis is also kind of he's like 33, right? Like,
I just looked up right now. He's 34, turns 35 in September.
Yeah, so he's kind of old. So like that would kind of work out well.
But I was just about to point out, like, yes, he is a little bit on the older side, but he's getting better. It doesn't look like he's depressed at all. Like he's getting better as the days go on.
That is true. But the thing is he going to lose his power and his speed? Like he's as powerful as he is, he's very quick too. Like he's insanely quick.
Yeah.
For being 265 pounds, he's very fast.
Yeah.
So is he going to lose that in the coming years? Because I think he's almost as old as Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson is like 35, right? Or he might even be like 37, but I don't know. But
Tony Ferguson is beat up.
Yeah, no, definitely. Ngannou's not as beat up because, well, that's also the thing. Like he doesn't really.
Tony Ferguson.
I don't think he has too much CTE. I don't think Ngannou's been in too many wars.
He hasn't been in really any wars, really.
Only the Stipe fight.
Yeah.
All his other fights have lasted like
30 seconds.
Yeah.
And he's just because he's slaughtered people, and it's gross. But your point of Ferguson. Ferguson just turned 37.
Oh, okay. All right.
February.
He's getting there.
Yeah. So I mean, Ferguson. Yeah, it's bad. And it's also really sad too that we'll never be able to get that Khabib fight. But we digress. We don't have to talk about that. But yeah, no. So Ngannou. But what happens now? Listen, hear me out now. What if Jones beats Ngannou?
That would be huge. Maybe that opens the door for Stipe. And I think there would have to be a rematch though.
Ngannou versus Jones.
Thinking about it, I think regardless of who wins, like there's going to be a rematch.
Oh yeah, because it's the big money fight. That's all everyone's gonna care about.
That's the hugest fight at the higher weight divisions.
Besides
Adesanya.
Exactly. That's gonna be a fight that people want to watch because again, it's like the heavy hitters, it's the big guys, stuff like that. I mean, yes, are like the featherweight and like whatever. Those fights are cool. They are fun to watch and stuff like that. But it's not as cool as watching Ngannou. Like these massive.
Yeah, it's like watching Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Versus like a smaller but really like good dude. Like it's a little bit different when they're heavyweights.
Exactly. It's so much more fun, especially like watching these like mammoths of the individuals just like go at it and try to murder each other. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. There's gonna be some bombs that are thrown.
Oh, bombs are gonna be thrown all day. And I cannot wait. I'm itching myself trying to figure out when is this fight going to get released. Because when this fight gets released, what do you think? Like right now, obviously they're going to be talking about money, and I know once Jones.
I've heard that Jones wants more money.
Yeah, well, yeah. So he was like, show me the money, in that tweet. Like you know how like in the UFC they show the tweet.
Yeah, I saw that.
He
But
said like show me the money, which I feel like that's gonna be a pain in the ass for these two trying to figure out how much money they're gonna make.
I've also heard that he wants more money, like
Yeah, probably.
recently. So I think that might be like I think that might be a little bit of an annoyance and maybe like something that delays it.
I think it probably will delay
We
it.
could even see a Jones retirement, like a fake retirement, like
Yeah.
a McGregor retirement.
Hopefully, though, I think you're obviously
hopefully it
gonna
doesn't
see
get
this
away.
fight. It's just Dana is gonna make cajillion dollars off this fight. He's just trying to figure out how he can make $2 cajillion instead of $1 cajillion dollars. Like that's what he's trying to figure out right now. I think it will sadly delay the fight because Jones is gonna be a pain in the ass about money. But I think Ngannou just wants to fight. I mean, obviously, yes, does he care about the money? 100%. But I don't think Ngannou came from like
maybe he might not wait for Jones.
Oh,
Like
interesting.
he could fight someone else. Like like if you don't want to do that, then I'll fight someone else. I think to be honest, I do think he cares about the money fight a little bit, but I think he'd rather fight more.
Yeah.
Like, I think he'd rather
like I mean, like I'm saying, like he, we all at the end of the day, we all care about money, obviously. But like I think on his hierarchy, like it's like fighting being the best, money right underneath.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think also too, he probably realizes like his timeline right now is a little short as far as like how much longer he probably has of being this dominant. I like I said before, he hasn't digressed yet, but when Father Time comes around, Father Time is undefeated, and it's sad. We've seen it in other sports where players who are just the best one season, especially in football, you'll see like, obviously they're two different sports. I totally get that. It's kind of hard to compare, but as far as Father Time goes, you saw like Peyton Manning, who is an amazing quarterback, and the year after was dog crap just because the Father Time came around. So, you're gonna see. Hopefully, you don't see that with Ngannou, but he's gonna probably realize like it can go, and it's gonna go quick. It can go quickly. Well, it does.
Yeah, unless we see him like just turn into some freak and like or at least just stay how he is, like into his early 40s, a little bit like Tom Brady.
Dude.
That would be insane.
I don't think we will, but that would be ridiculous.
Too much longer.
What?
I don't really see him fighting too much longer, to be honest.
How much time do you guys left?
5 years, 6 years.
I feel like it's still a lot, though.
Huh?
I feel like it's still a lot of years.
It's more than like a couple, but it won't be a lot in a couple of years. Like it kind of like time does fly a little bit. So
especially in the fight game.
Sooner than you think, it'll be like he's got like 2 years left or 3 years left, and that's like Tony's got like a year or two left, so he'll be in the Tony category.
And you know what's really sad too is like when you think about it, like these guys at most probably fight like on a busy year, like 3 times a year. So if we're talking like 2 or 3 times, if he fights like 2 times a year, let's say on average, right? That's probably what he does maybe. If he fights 3 times a year at the most, like he's got another like 6 fights. And it's kind of sad thinking about it.
Yeah, no, like guys like Connor, like he probably doesn't have too many fights left. Like a lot of people are like that. So and that's just how the sport is. Like you don't fight, like you get 82 games per season in the NBA and the NHL, and you get 17 or 16 games for the NFL season, but like fighters might have like 30, 40 fights in their whole career, and then like maybe 12 in the UFC.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't fight in the UFC as much.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Like Connor, like Khabib is 29-0, but he has like 17 fights outside the UFC. Like, so that's most of his career outside the UFC.
Yeah. That's what's so weird about like about fighting, about the fight game, as far as like you're right, like as far as like football or like basketball, like we think these guys are like last forever, and maybe they have the same duration as long as their professional careers go, right? But as far as them being in the spotlight, it's completely different. Like LeBron and John Jones have like been fighting roughly the same amount of time. I don't know what the exact date is, you know what I mean? But they've been like professional athletes for probably the same amount of time. Fair to say?
LeBron started in 2003.
Yeah.
And I think Jones started like 2009 maybe.
Okay, so but roughly the same. Roughly the same.
Similar.
Similar. As
They've
far
been
as I'm saying,
dominant for a long, like since they were young in their
yeah,
career.
yeah. And they've been fighting, but like LeBron, we always like LeBron's on our TV screen like for at least like a third of the year, sadly. But he's on the TV for a while. Where Jones, again, like he has like at most as like a busy year is like 3 or 4 fights. That's a busy year. So it's
Yeah, no,
very
he
weird for
hasn't
the
really been doing
UFC.
that lately.
Yeah,
A lot of the times when fighters get like older and like more famous, they'll fight less.
once or twice.
Yeah,
Twice like would be a crazy year.
yeah, like 2 times is like exciting, and 3 times is like almost unheard of.
Yeah, yeah. Like it's like wow, great. Like I wouldn't be surprised. Like Ngannou only fought one time last year, I believe.
Well, that was because he wanted to fight for the title, and DC and Stipe had to fight.
Oh, okay.
And then after that fight, Stipe like wanted to recover. So he got poked in the eyes a lot.
Yeah,
Um, so that's what held him up. But who knows? I mean, he can fight a lot. That's the thing. He's never gonna be in a war,
yeah.
like most likely. Like so, he can fight. He could fight like 5 times a year, but like he definitely won't. He'll fight like 2 to 3.
Uh-huh.
Which would be that would be crazy if he fought 3 times in a year. Like that would be a blessing. But the way he fights, he could fight a lot. So we'll see. Like,
Yeah, for sure, for sure. One last thing I want to mention before we wrap this up is one thing that going back to John Jones versus Ngannou fight, John Jones has always had the reach and by a long shot too, by like 10 or 15 inches. In this fight, I was noticing what Ngannou's reach was last. He said like it would be roughly the same reach. So that's something that John Jones is not going to have as an advantage. And if you're right, if they go stand up, like Ngannou's probably going to win that because he can get in there and punch him and get him.
yeah, and I think Ngannou's reach might actually be longer.
Really?
Yeah, but I think it's like 80, something in the 80s. I think John Jones is as well, but I think Ngannou's like close to 7 feet, like 6'7". His wingspan
It's ridiculous.
is like 6'8", maybe even like 6'8" or 6'9". I don't know. But yeah, like he has the reach. I mean, John Jones's legs might be longer or something, but Ngannou has the reach, and he's also like gonna be way stronger than Jones. For as athletic as Jones is, like he's not gonna be stronger than Ngannou. So he can just rush him on the feet, and it's not like Jones is this great technical boxer. Like he's always been this unorthodox like fighter, who strikes at range. When he's not really going to be able to do that necessarily as well as he normally would against Francis Ngannou. So the thing is he going to be able to grapple him? John Jones might want to fight him on the feet though too, because he's done that in the past. Like he's been like with Thiago Santos and Dominic Reyes, like he fought on the feet. He didn't take them down. He wanted to beat them where they were good.
Yeah,
so maybe he wants to knock Ngannou out.
I think that's probably what he's going to want to do too. I think he's going to want to knock him out. Hasn't Ngannou been knocked out? No. So I think that's probably what, because he gets in his head like, I am the best, and yes, he is, but he doesn't. He wants to be like he wants to put on a resume like I knocked off Ngannou. Just to go back to the reach part, John Jones has 84.5, Ngannou has 83. So yeah, roughly pretty much the same thing.
Oh, Ngannou's just shorter?
Yeah, by an inch and a half.
Okay.
By an inch and a half.
That's crazy.
So, I mean, still really good, and still really
it's much closer, yeah.
But again, John Jones being in like light heavyweight has never really had to deal with a guy that has a roughly the same inch like reach as him. He really hasn't. But yeah, again, we are gonna definitely, when that fight card gets released, we can maybe talk about that. I am extremely excited about that. I think the next fight card might be pretty good too, isn't it? Isn't that Usman?
261?
That's Usman.
I think it's Usman,
versus Masvidal
and Wei Li. Like I think Rose Namajunas is fighting Wei Li, and then Shevchenko's fighting Jessica Andrade, something like that.
It's another 3-champ fight. Wow.
Yeah. No, it's
oh my god! And the 5th fight is Smith. It's Lionheart versus Crute.
Yeah, no, it's a pretty big card.
Yeah, okay, we're definitely gonna be doing an analysis of that because I'm super excited about Usman versus Masvidal. I'm a little bit of like an anti-Usman guy.
I don't know why he's getting the title shot. It's kind of ridiculous.
I don't get it either, but the only reason why I do get it is like Usman's the most like household name in that division. Or no, not Usman. Masvidal's probably the most household name in that division. Very popular, very famous. So, you know, they're gonna want to give him a shot. And I think also like the last fight they had was really good, was it not?
Jorge and
Usman. I thought it was good, especially knowing that like literally Jorge had like 2 days to prepare.
Yeah, but I think it's not going to turn out any differently.
You think it's gonna be Usman wins?
Yeah, I think Usman's gonna 100% win. Like I don't think he has the wrestling defense or the grappling capability to deal with Usman. And Usman just got that jab, so he maybe even outboxes Jorge.
Yeah.
But I don't think there's any way Masvidal wins that fight.
Yeah,
I think that fight should be going to like Colby, or I think Colby deserves a rematch way more than Masvidal.
Yeah.
Like, I get Masvidal is 3 days, and that's what that had 3 days notice last time, and that's what they're like building on. But like I think that's Colby's fight all day, or even like I would give that to Wonder Boy.
Definitely fair, but it still to me should be exciting, especially we have 3 championship fights. So
yeah. I mean,
it's
still Masvidal, it's still Usman. Like,
it is exciting. It is for sure exciting.
No, it will be exciting, especially the women's fights. Like those are really good fights too.
Yeah. That Lee girl is ridiculous.
Yeah, they all 4 of those girls are really high level. Like sometimes you have a women's championship fight, where like Amanda Nunes' last fight.
Yeah.
It'll be kind of just against some nobody, but like all those girls are like
good
big names in those divisions. Yeah,
for sure. But yeah, this is a lot of fun. We will definitely post a video on the pre and post analysis for UFC 261. Really excited about that. But Kevin, you got anything to say before we head out?
No, I'm excited for the next one.
Same here. All right, thanks guys for listening, and I'll see you later.